Hey guys, let's get more news from Steelers, but first don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. Kenny Pickett surprised after Steelers fired OC Matt Canada, you have to take it personal. Kenny Pickett was just as surprised as everyone else when he learned the Pittsburgh Steelers had fired offensive coordinator Matt Canada on Tuesday. The coaching change, which came after the Steelers' 13-10 loss to the Cleveland Browns last week, was the first in-season coaching change the organization has made since 1941. Pickett said Wednesday ahead of their game this week against the Cincinnati Bengals that he had no idea the change was coming. "You hate to see it. You don't want to see one of your coaches lose their job," he said, via ESPN's Brooke Pryor. "We all got to be better." Called coach, Canada wished him well. "We had a great conversation, but you got to bounce back quick and get ready to go." While the Steelers are 6-4, their offense has been horrific so far this season. They've been outgained in all 10 of their games, most recently by 10 yards to the Browns on Sunday in a game they won on a last-second field goal, though they somehow still have a winning record. The Steelers are in the bottom 5 in the league in total yards per game, 280.1, and points per game, 16.6, and they're second worst in passing yards with 170 per game, which is better than only the New York Giants. That team is on its third-string rookie quarterback. Pickett has been bad, too. Headed into Sunday's game against the Bengals, Pickett has thrown for 1,722 yards with only 6 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. He threw for 106 yards against the Browns and averaged just 3.8 yards per completion, a season low. He holds a 35.7 QBR. As a result, fans zeroed in on Canada as the issue in Pittsburgh, which led to head coach Mike Tomlin firing him. "It's a challenge to everybody," Pickett said of Canada's firing. "I feel like you have to take it personal. It's a guy you've worked with since I got drafted here, you want to play great, you don't want to see anyone get let go like that. So absolutely we have to answer the bell, find out what we need to do to play better and then just go take care of business." Despite their issues, the Steelers enter Sunday's game having won 4 of their past 6 games. The Bengals are just 5-5 after dropping their past 2 games, and they lost quarterback Joe Burrow for the rest of the year. While Canada is now gone, don't expect sweeping offensive changes with quarterback coach Mike Sullivan and running backs coach Eddie Faulkner sharing the reins. "You can't have wholesale changes at this point in the season," Pickett said. "We're going to run the system that we've been using, and Coach Sully, Coach Falk, they're going to put their wrinkle in on it, on what they want to run and when they want to run it." Steelers' Pat Freiermuth speaks out on Matt Canada, Kenny Pickett. The firing of Pittsburgh Steelers offensive coordinator Matt Canada was a cause for celebration from a lot of Pittsburgh sports fans. But it wasn't for Steelers tight end Pat Freiermuth. When speaking to reporters for the first time since Canada's firing on November 21, Freiermuth expressed sorrow about seeing the only offensive coordinator he's played for in the NFL lose his job. "I'm not going to cheer for it. It's sad. He's a great guy. Me and Canada had a great relationship," Freiermuth told reporters via TribLive.com's Chris Adamaski. "Obviously, you're never going to celebrate someone losing their job. He's a great family. Great guy. It's definitely sad. But we have to keep pushing forward and keep going with the big division game coming up." The Steelers will push forward with running backs coach Eddie Faulkner as the team's new offensive coordinator. Quarterbacks coach Mike Sullivan will call offensive plays. The Steelers will also continue forward with quarterback Kenny Pickett still behind center. Freiermuth expressed tremendous confidence in his quarterback getting the team's offense on track. "Full confidence in Kenny," Freiermuth said, answering a question about Pickett's struggles before the reporter finished asking it. "Full confidence in everyone in this offense to get this going. NFL coaches don't typically make coaching changes to wake up a locker room. The Steelers obviously don't do that." ESPN's Adam Schefter tweeted on November 21 that firing Canada was the first time the Steelers made a head coach or coordinator change during the season since 1941. But Canada's firing may have that wake-up impact on the players, particularly on offense. "It heightens our sense to let's get going," Freiermuth told reporters via 93.7 The Fan. "Obviously, everyone is going to have eyes on us offensively this week. We have to execute and do what we have to do. Veteran wide receiver Allen Robinson also expressed confidence that the Steelers will be able to do what they have to do with Pickett behind center. Robinson stressed to reporters on November 22 that when an offense isn't working, the responsibility shouldn't fall on just the quarterback or even the coordinator. Confidence is high, Robinson said of Pickett, via ESPN's Brooke Pryor. Former NFL head coach long shot candidate for Steelers OC opening. A new era for the Pittsburgh Steelers offense will begin in Week 12 against the Cincinnati Bengals. Steelers quarterbacks coach Mike Sullivan will call offensive plays, replacing fired offensive coordinator Matt Canada. Steelers running backs coach Eddie Faulkner will hold the offensive coordinator title for the remainder of the season. With the loyalty the Steelers show their coaches, it wouldn't be surprising if the team named Faulkner or Sullivan its full-time offensive coordinator next season, of course, assuming the offense shows improvement in the final 7 games. But that won't stop the rumor mill from suggesting possible outside candidates for the Steelers coaching staff opening. On November 22, the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette's Ray Fittipaldo named 5 candidates for the Steelers' offensive coordinator role. The list began with Brian Leftwich, who has been a popular choice in the media to replace Canada for nearly a year. But the list ended with a much less consensus candidate, former Indianapolis Colts and Detroit Lions head coach Jim Caldwell. Although labeled a long shot choice, Fittipaldo argued Caldwell is an offensive coordinator candidate for the Steelers because of his record of developing quarterbacks and strong relationship with Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin. This is a long shot because Caldwell will turn 69 in January, but he interviewed for the vacant offensive coordinator's position with the Steelers in 2012, Fittipaldo wrote. The Steelers ultimately hired Todd Haley, but Mike Tomlin and Caldwell are longtime friends. Caldwell was head coach of the Colts from 2009 to 11 and then for the Lions from 2014 to 17. He posted a 62-50 record in 7 seasons. This season, Caldwell is a senior assistant for the Carolina Panthers. If the 2023 season has proven anything with the Steelers, it's that Tomlin will have his team competitive regardless of how ugly the statistics may be. But to be true Super Bowl contenders again, the Steelers must develop a franchise quarterback. Obviously, the Steelers would prefer that signal caller to be Kenny Pickett. That makes Pittsburgh's choice for its offensive coordinator role crucial. Tomlin must choose a coordinator who will work with Pickett and develop him into a star. Caldwell will turn 69 in January, but due to his age, he's experienced with working and developing lots of different quarterbacks. Caldwell has worked with some of the NFL's top quarterbacks this century. Before he was named Colts head coach, he held the position of associate head coach and quarterbacks coach and tutored Peyton Manning, Fittipaldo wrote. He was Baltimore's quarterbacks coach in 2012 when Joe Flacco led the Ravens to the Super Bowl, and he coached Matthew Stafford in Detroit. And you fan, what do you think of the Offensivo Jim Cadwell situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.